We're here to say one nice thing about every game in the top 100 games of Board Game Geek.
Let's go.
Also, this list of 100 games was created in early August 2025. Board Game Geek is a living website, so the top 100 changes all the time. So if you see something that's not there or whatever, it's okay, we're okay. Lords of Waterdeep is a great way to get D&D nerds into board games. It also helped birth the third-party component upgrade market.
El Grande is the absolute godfather of area control games that aren't war games, and it deserves that title.
Aeon's End has a truly unique way of approaching deck building with a deck that you do not actually shuffle.
The balancing of economy and the ever-growing cost of an expansive empire is really cool and something I'd never seen before when we first played Eclipse New Dawn for the Galaxy.
Wingspan Asia has a Eurasian Hoopa, which looks like a past their prime Rockstar, and that's nice.
Uwe Rosenberg, but 2-player only, but also like a big Uwe Rosenberg game? Yes, yes, yes. Fields of Arl, more like Fields of Carl Urban, because Carl Urban rocks. He played Aylmer.
Clank is my first true board game love. Diving deep into the dungeon is literally always fun, and the sound mechanism of making Clank is very cool.
Darwin's Journey makes stuff look old, but not ugly. Plus you can have massive combo wombo turns.
The setup for Revive takes forever, and it's really humongous, but it's really fun when you get to exploring the map and building your engine.
Mancala needs to be in more games, and Five Tribes has done it better than any other game, including Mancala. Get wrecked, whoever designed Mancala. Who designed Mancala? William Julius Champion Jr. Damn, that's a dope-ass name.
Great Western Trail New Zealand is the most Western trail of them all in terms of stuff going on. And the most Western trail is the most Western better.
Blood on the Clock Tower gives you an organized structure that allows you to lie to people to their faces. I also really like the shade of purple on the box.
Azul taught me how to say blue in Spanish, and the components look like candy.
Race for the Galaxy didn't invent follow mechanisms, but became the blueprint for so many action follow mechanisms in games, and is generally one of the cooler things in a game.
Kingdom Death Monster has solved the problem of people having too much empty space on their shelves, plus the minis are super rad.
The Crew Quest for Planet 9 and Chinese food got us through the first week of COVID, which was legitimately a very scary time.
Mechs vs. Minions was the first game to be super extra, and we love it for that fact alone. How much was in that game at the price point it was at will probably never happen again. It was wild.
In the White Castle, you only get 9 turns in the whole game, but the combos, baby, the combos!
Without Agricola, we don't have like 80% of other games, including almost everything Uwe has done.
Android Netrunner has one of the most dedicated fan bases I have ever seen. They have literally resurrected this game from the dead and kept it going without the publisher's help.
Star Wars Imperial Assault lets me do a dungeon crawl in the Star Wars universe, and that is dope.
The multi-use cards and stacking abilities of the cards in Maracaibo is insanely satisfying.
Ticket to Ride Legacy is legitimately the first competitive Legacy game that I will play after the campaign is complete.
The Gallerist is a lot of people's first Lacerda, and it's a great place to start as it's actually not that heavy. I mean, it's still a Lacerda.
Le Havre is the most buttery smooth turns a game of its size has probably ever had.
Paladins of the West Kingdom gives you so many opportunities to find a direction and just go and propel yourself down that path.
Clans of Caledonia teaches you the meaning of extracting every possible ounce out of each round you play, and the way the player board shows what income you gain when you remove pieces is real smooth.
The first time I played Quacks of Quedlinburg is the most fun I have ever had while playing a board game.
Harmonies is beautiful and simple, but there's also sneaky awesome strategy as well.
I was terrified of Power Grid forever, and then I played it and I was so happily surprised by its weight level and cool strategy to explore.
The gear mechanism at the center of Tzolk'in is the most clever thing to have ever been created for a board game. Best gimmick of all time.
Mansions of Madness 2nd Edition is ranked at a hilarious number. It also seems like it's fun to play.
In Clay Catacombs, you get to create a variable board that you don't see all of at the start of the game, and it takes the dungeon crawl / exploration aspect of Clank to an entirely new level.
Following up Pandemic Legacy Season 1 is no small feat, and they not only made this a great game, but they didn't just copy the first one.
Grand Austria Hotel is somehow amazing despite being incredibly stressful at times. It's stress that I actually seek out.
It's literally hella fun to be fancy British people in Obsession. Oh yes, drinking crumpets on the green.
Ryan Laukat just keeps exploring this beautiful world, and the art in Sleeping Gods is so freaking pretty. One of the best board game covers of all time.
Lisboa has really interesting card play and tight resource management, and it's another game that looks old but is strangely beautiful.
In Oathsworn, the cooldown mechanism for the cards you play is so cool. The best cards are super powerful, but you'll be forced to wait to get them back, and managing the cooldown of cards is really unique. It also gives you the choice of using cards over rolling dice. Thank goodness.
Age of Innovation brings something new and unique to the Terra Mystica line of games by randomizing factions and their abilities. This gives you a bit of agency as you now get to choose what abilities your factions get, and that just feels good, man.
Without Agricola 1st Edition, we wouldn't have Agricola 2nd Edition.
Blood Rage Low-Key introduced us to a hybrid version of a Euro mechanism game with an Amerithrash Minis type game, which at the time was very new.
The time travel theme in Anachrony is an insanely cool setting for what could have just been another worker placement game about taking out loans and working out on a farm. Not that we don't love farm games. Man, I wish this game was about farming.
In On Mars, the cadence of traveling between Earth and Mars and how that cadence changes throughout the game is super neat.
The style of game and spy setting of Pandemic Legacy Season 0 makes for a really cool campaign, and I wish there was a standalone normal Pandemic with a Cold War espionage theme.
Caverna the Cave Farmers took what you do in Agricola and gave you an even beefier experience in the base box, and the theme is one we prefer because dwarves are the best. Fight me.
Cascadia has a simple turn structure of getting a tile and a token, but with different scoring conditions from game to game that makes this one of the most replayable games ever made. Suck it, chess!
Cthulhu Death May Die's giant Cthulhu mini with all of its boils and such is truly revolting, exactly as it should be.
Puerto Rico literally birthed so many other great games, such as Race for the Galaxy and countless others.
PAX Premier's 2nd edition is the most beautiful abstract board and pieces I've seen. So simple and elegant, and it creates such an interesting war-type game.
Underwater Cities is the first and only game to feature what is very clearly Exhibit. Don't know why he's there, but it's definitely him.
In Food Chain Magnate, the card pyramid to signify the employees of your business is a super cool mechanism that I want to see more games use.
The Car Factory setting for Kanban Eevee may be the best integration of theme into the mechanisms of a heavy Euro game.
Crokinole is literally the most fun game ever, and with such a simple set of rules, you can get flicking immediately. I will play this game literally anytime. I love you.
In Marvel Champions, I love that you have to spend time as your alter ego as well as your superhero form. Sometimes Peter Parker's just gotta go and have some soup with Aunt May.
There is a staggering amount of content in just the base box of Heat Pedal to the Metal, and the upgrades to the cars giving unique cards to use is super rad. Also, it's some of the best vintage trait art in the whole game.
Hegemony Lead Your Class to Victory seems like a really well thought out game in that certain classes are going to have significant advantages, which is meant to reflect real life in an honest way, which I appreciate.
There is a beauty to the logical progression of actions you need to take to get a wine order done in viticulture. There is a linear nature to this game which makes it more accessible than many other games of its weight class.
The Crew Mission Deep Sea took the nearly perfect The Crew Quest for Planet 9 and made it even wetter. I mean, better.
Everdell ushered in a new era of games of cozy animals doing human stuff, which is a genre we genuinely love. Also an era of squishy fruit resources, which I also love.
SETI has really easy actions and creates an awesome big puzzle with a zillion avenues to score points.
Slay the Spire, the board game, is legitimately worth setting up and playing. Having a cooperative multiplayer experience that is unique to the video game is totally worth having.
Barrage melted my mind, but I really dig the way that you manage your resource cooldown period with a rotating gear, and the way they simulate flowing water is pretty elegant.
People have always said that Mage Knight is the best dang solo experience of all time. We haven't played it, but that's what we've heard, and people on the internet have never lied.
It's incredibly fun to say Auleon when playing Orleans.
In Wingspan, you get to say really funny names of birds, and most of them sound incredibly inappropriate, leading me to wonder about the secret lives of birders. Filthy birders with their binoculars. Disgusting.
SkyTeam is probably the best just working a job game ever.
It's Seven Wonders and Lord of the Rings. Nothing could be greater.
I love trying to figure out how to best use your abilities in Terra Mystica and expand onto the map. You really have to learn your faction, and it's very rewarding to do so.
Too Many Bones gives you a legit feeling of powering up and growing as the game progresses. And while the characters can get pretty complex, the regular rules for the game are actually not that complicated.
Root may genuinely be one of the best made games of all time, from mechanisms to art to variability to replayability.
Arkham Horror, the card game's ability to blend some storytelling elements into a card game of this nature seems really neat.
Lost Ruins of Arnak is subtly one of the most thematic games of all time, and it's incredibly nice to look at. Also, one of the only times a portrait-style board has actually worked.
Great Western Trail 2nd Edition saved us from the haunting cover of Great Western Trail 1st Edition.
Would we even have Trading in the Mediterranean if we didn't have Concordia?
The most delicious and large menu of actions you have ever seen. A feast for Odin out here feeding families.
Clank Legacy takes an already great formula, adds cool twists, and cranks the humor up to 11.
Nemesis is legally distinct from Alien, and a super fun and weird world to base a board game in.
I literally don't even know how you come up with Gloomhaven, so making Frosthaven even better and bigger is a straight up flex.
Seven Wonders Duel is infinitely better than Seven Wonders. Fight me.
It's amazing to have a follow-up like Brass Birmingham, and yet there are so many people that say the original Brass Lancashire holds up to the new or even still surpasses it. Those people are wrong, but it's cool that they exist.
Scythe is such a cool and nice production and a game we have very happily blinged out to the max, and the world is one of the coolest in all board games.
We finally have dual layer boards for Eclipse, thank goodness.
Oh god, we're haunted still. But I continue to find new strategies and things to explore in Great Western Trail even nearly a decade into playing it.
The fact that you have 4 possible actions to do with each die you use and the ability to mitigate your dice rolls makes Castles of Burgundy fun and different every single time out.
Through the Ages, A New Story of Civilization is the engine builder to end all engine builders.
In Twilight Struggle, one of the more interesting times in history is played out, and I love that each card is a real event that happened.
Gaia Project built on Terra Mystica and perfected the form. It's the best one.
Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion has the best tutorial system I have ever seen in a game, and I think it legitimately creates new board gamers constantly because of the way they make it so approachable.
Each spirit in Spirit Island can be played over and over as you learn how to master their abilities, and there is so much content in the box. It also just plays amazing solo.
Dune Imperium Uprising took Dune Imperium to a whole new level of scale and scope, and it's got them worms.
It's impossible to have a bad time playing Star Wars Rebellion, especially if you love Star Wars. Okay, mostly only if you love Star Wars, but it's really fun.
It's Lord of the Rings in a box, and it's perfect.
For a solid 6 years, Terraforming Mars was absolutely the king of the board game hobby. Unreal staying power.
Dune Imperium uses art based on the movies, but it doesn't feel at all like a movie tie-in cash grab.
The scale and epic stories that come out of Twilight Imperium 4th Edition make it everlasting. Every time you play, you get a permanent memory and story. It's truly impressive.
The sheer amount of content in Gloomhaven and the card play makes this dungeon crawler a Eurogamer's delight.
Ark Nova takes Terraforming Mars' card play and Civilization's action card mechanisms and put it into a theme we're just way more interested in. Just the absolute pinnacle of mashing up mechanisms into a masterpiece.
Pandemic Legacy Season 1 has deserved every single ounce of acclaim and accolades it's received over the years. It was an absolute phenomenon when it came out.
I don't want to say anything nice about this game.
You gotta say
I don't want to say anything nice about this game. I don't like this game though.
The point of the video is to say nice things about games.
Fine. Brass Birmingham is objectively a board game.
No,
done.
No,
easy.
No.
That was nice.
Say the words that are written.
Brass rhymes with ass. Got him. Got him.
No, you're done.
Yeah,
you're done.
right.
Listen, Brass Birmingham has one of the best examples of positive player interaction and a game I'd actually seek out to play for a player. Was that so hard?
Yes. So that was one nice thing about every single game in the Board Game Geek Top 100. Many games that we actually don't even really like, but there's always something nice to say.
Exactly. I think that's why these games are so popular. So go ahead and rate your games to change to the top 100. If you want to do a nice thing for us, you don't even have to do 100. Just do 1 and subscribe. Actually, do 2 and thumb it up. And
3,
then 3, share it with a friend. Do 3 things for us.
4, write a nice thing about this video in the comments. Just engage
5,
with
join the
video.
Patreon. We could go on and
gosh,
on.
yeah.
Okay,
We're
get
fine.
merch and stuff. We'll see you later.
Thank you so much for watching that video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe and like it and leave a comment down below. We had a lot of fun making it, and let us know if you like these kinds of videos and you'd like to see us do them more, because you know what? We enjoy doing them.